was a sign up for Test and Adjust, and anyone who was in operations in the park could sign up for it. So I put my name on a list, and then I ended up meeting with Keith Gossett and Curtis. The next thing I knew, I was in a room with 5 of us, and then Jay walked in.
I was facilitating declamation, and some of us were selected to do tours of the model of the land mock-up in the Cat Services Center. I became really excited about Pandora.
It was just this weird sort of experience at the beginning. There were no floating mountains yet. There was no screen. There was no sled for the screen. There was like nothing. Then we onboarded more Test and Adjust people.
Spare the moment, put my name on that list for Test and Adjust.
And then I was on Test and Adjust for almost a full year, I think.
And then Jeff came on board. We had Ashby and Jay.
Dinosaur had gone down for refurbishment, and Jay was the duty manager one day. And I was just standing outside at the wall, and I just said, "When are you going to pull me over for Test and Adjust?"
I remember Ashby pretty much asking me, well, where would you want to go? So I told him, I said, if I had to pick between the two, it'd be Navi.
3 days later, got a call from Jay saying, "Hey, you're coming to Navi for Test and Adjust."
And then the opening team leaders were announced. Before we knew it, we were applying for opening team.
When I came in, because I think you guys were on like day 3 of interviews at casting, and like it was just so funny to walk into because everyone was already like defeated by like day 1 and 2 of the process of it all. I think my very first candidate didn't know how to pronounce their own name.
I got plenty of good stories. Like the lady who said her job was meat.
Oh, this is going to be something.
608 people interviewing, but we had 110 and 105 positions or something for full-time and part-time.
And I remember going into the casting building, and Bobby was running around in Ashby, and Ashby came out and saw that I was there. He went back in the room and asked everyone who did not know me.
And everybody in the room all knew who Luann was. And I'm like, who's this Luann? I want to know. And I was the only one. And so I walked out to go meet Luann, who is just as the personality that she is today. The entire room could hear her answers to every single question.
My interview was with Bobby, and the moment I said ad lib and that I worked at Pirates, it just became a conversation about the best evac stories that we had.
I could tell she was good, she knew what she's doing, and just by talking about Pirates, I could get her operational savviness as opposed to, what's your favorite character from The Lion King? I don't care. How do you power up Pirates? And she was telling me all that stuff, so I knew she was an operator.
I had started as like a little baby part-timer over in Fantasyland. So I watched everybody, open the mine train. And I remember saying, I want to open something myself.
I didn't think I was ever going to leave safaris. Anna was the one that actually talked me into it. Come with me, just interview for it, put in for it. I was like, oh, okay. So I did.
I was at Epcot and I was pretty comfortable there. I didn't have any plans of leaving. A lot of cast members are coming up to me saying, I'm going to apply for Pandora. Are you? The last day of the application, it was like maybe 30 minutes before midnight. I'm just like, whatever, I'll go for it.
I remember going in and Bobby actually interviewed me. The minute we started talking about operations, like something clicked and we just started going back and forth and like joking with each other.
And Bobby walks out and he's like, Nicole, you probably don't remember me. I'm like, oh, I remember you, Bobby.
Brian actually interviewed me.
I interviewed with Jay. He asked me a question and I started to answer it. I lost my train of thought and then panicked even more and forgot the question.
My interviewer was Kelsey, yes. And I was sure they never gonna be hire me.
She asked me about a writer switch. I hadn't ever participated in a writer switch except when I was the child in Disneyland when I was like 4.
My first work here in the US was the Walt Disney World. That was Main Street daily operation. And I was there 2.5 years long. I was back, I was theater, I was in Walt Disney World Railroad as well, but it was time to move.
Monorails was my first role. The decision to leave once I had gotten to be a driver to go for this new thing was really difficult for me.
I was working in Adventureland at Pirates.
I was a trainer at Expedition Everest.
So I thought, I'm going to apply to Pandora. I want to open Navi River Journey because Pirates is so much fun. So like Navi's going to be a lot of fun.
I somehow ended up with Jeff shadowing me one morning. He sat me down. He was like, look, I know you're passionate about this operation here. I can see you have a passion for like rides in general. I want you to interview for Pandora. I know you weren't really interested in it because you want to stay here, but I think it would be a good opportunity for you. And I was like, oh, okay.
I had an interview with Kelsey Katz. Went in there and I thought, like, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to be uplifting, I'm going to even try to tell some jokes. I'm really going to connect on like a personal level.
Had my interview with Kelsey. Probably told one too many dad jokes in my interview.
The classic Kelsey stare, and I was like, oh no, this is not going good.
Kelsey has kind of that aura where you don't know if you did well or not. She's very neutral, I'll say.
I'm going to plead the Michelle. That's just my face. But I had Patrick Gorham, who wore this fantastic red bow tie that will never be topped. That was great.
I was at Expedition Everest working, and Jeff had come over just to kind of shadow. I was still fairly new to the company. I walked into casting for the interview. I was super nervous. I saw Jeff walk out, and I was like, oh, I know him. Like, is he going to interview me? Is he not? Am I going to get someone that I don't know? And sure enough, he called my name.
When I worked at Frontierland, I was a trainer and a relief coordinator. I loved Magic Kingdom. I loved Frontierland. I loved the attractions. So it was definitely a risk.
Jack changed my life. It literally sparked this fire within me. So I wanted to grow with the park that has meant so much to me.
I had been part-time in Frontierland for a year, and before that I had done a college program at the mine train.
If I go into the interview and have anybody but Jeff Lopa, I'll feel comfortable. Joke's on me. I was interviewed by Jeff Lopa.
I hope it's not Jeff, because I've heard all these stories about Jeff. And here comes this guy. Let's go. Come on. I'm going to interview you. And so I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
When the man named Jeff came out to get me, I was sweating because I was so nervous.
The word I would use is awkward, but also very impressive.
I still give Jeff a hard time. Anytime I did something that he didn't like, I just said, remember, you hired me for this job.
Every part-timer that was currently part-time only wanted full-time.
I have no attractions experience. I'm part-time. I told nobody that I was interviewing because I figure if you don't tell anybody, you don't have to tell anybody that you didn't get it. It's hard to believe, but I tend to overthink things. And Jeff, he came out and introduced himself. There's so much noise going on, and I like quiet before something like that. Didn't matter what I wanted.
Jen Yogel was one that came interviewing as a part-time cast member from vacation planning at the Magic Kingdom. And she's impressive. She's really good. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, home run, easy part-time.
And basically I said I only wanted full-time. I don't really want to go part-time to part-time.
She stood her ground and she was, I want full-time.
Then seeing him at Pandora afterwards, and he was like, you were really adamant at that interview. And I was like, yeah, but I got full-time.
After my college program ended in December, I got part-time with children's activities. You know what? I'm gonna try for Pandora.
I was in parking, and then I was desperate to get back to attractions.
I got an interview for merchandise and attractions. I'm planning on getting merchandise, but I'll do attractions just because. I had no attractions experience. So my interview was with Dana. Thank goodness, because Dana was so sweet.
I got an interview for attractions and an interview for merchandise. And Celia did my interview, and I had the attractions interview first.
I asked if she had any other question.
And my question was, if I went through the merchandise interview and then got offered merchandise first, what would happen? She did this thing where she looked around the room like she had a secret and like leaned in really close to me at this like table and said, do you want attractions or do you want merchandise more? And so I said I wanted attractions more. And she said, okay, cancel your merchandise interview.
And she was really nervous, and I can't really believe she trusted me, but she did.
Are you sure? And she said, yep. And then I was panicking for the next weeks after that because I was one of the last people to get a phone call. And I thought that she had sabotaged my interview and I wasn't going to get to go anywhere.
When I came to Pandora, I was working at the Disney store in Oklahoma. I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to fly to Florida for a job interview. So I flew to Florida, interviewed with Ashby.
She nailed the interview. What can we do to get her here? And of course, as there's all this red tape you got to get through and you got to figure out how to work around it. But working with casting, we were able to figure out a way to get her there.
And I got a call saying that I had gotten the job and it was only part-time. I was so incredibly nervous. I moved down here without a place to live, but I was so grateful once I got to work because I saw Ashby again and he said, I can't believe you accepted this role. I couldn't give you the full-time position you wanted, but I wanted you on this team so badly that I said I'm going to offer her part-time and hope for the best because I want her to be here. And that just made me so confident about being here.
We have to have this cast member, and I'm so glad we did, and we got her, and she was just fantastic.
We didn't even end up hiring enough part-time people. We had to hire people through casting.
I kind of interviewed, but through casting. And it was mostly this nice man just saying, like, yeah, I'll hire you for attractions today. Do you want to go to Dino Land or do you want to open Pandora? And I said, oh, that's a tough choice. I think I'm going to have to go with Pandora. Didn't know anything about the leaders, didn't know anything about Jeff, didn't really know what I signed up for. I just knew I did not want to work at the Swan and Dolphin anymore. And so I applied to work for Disney again, and that was the shot in the dark that they offered me.
The whole process was just insane because there was so many great candidates.
You could tell the difference where it was like, I just think this will be cool, and I kind of just want it on my resume. And you could tell the ones that were really passionate about it, and like this is really what they wanted to do, and like they prepped for this and they want nothing else. We got great people.
The best way to impress is not to try to. When it naturally comes, you're good.